Morning, everyone. My name is Eweniyi. I'm co-founder and CEO of PiggyVest. I'm so happy to be joining you this morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And I'm really sorry that I couldn't be there physically, but I'd also like to say thank you to the organizers of the festival for letting me join virtually. Um, it's such a pleasure to be speaking with everyone sitting out there today. And for the most part, I think that there's going to be a lot of conversation around programming and being technical. And I thought someone should do something for those of us that aren't technical, that aren't programmers. So a lot of my conversation today will be focused on being non-technical in tech, right? There is all of this focus on creating programming schools and creating um, early junior developers training boot camps, but those are good things. For my angle though, I think that there isn't a lot of emphasis now on creating more efficient operators, creating that pipeline of junior operators, of entry level operators, of entry level generalists. And that happens to be where I play. And I'm hoping that for the purpose of this talk, those people are also out there in the audience. So I'll be speaking mostly to them. Now, in 2014, when I and my co-founders started our first ever company, my journey into becoming a founder, um, I had just graduated with a degree in computer engineering. And truth be told, I was starting to pick up programming around the time that we launched and pushed CV. But it was also around that time that I started to realize that it wasn't for me. And so, to the dismay of everyone around me, because I'd been like, I'm going to do this, I stopped. I decided that I wasn't going to try to learn how to code anymore. It just simply wasn't working out. And I looked around at our company and I realized that there is a bunch of things and a bunch of gaps that I could fill. Right? No one was talking about it much, but it just was kind of obvious that there is more that you can do here outside of the actual building. I sucked really hard at the marketing people relations side. So I was looking for something internal. What can I do inside of the company that's going to make as much a difference as marketing and being like the technical person building the actual platform? And I decided to combine a bunch of functions. This wasn't deliberate. And then we went back to the internet and we read about it and we gave it a name, operations. But it turns out that, there is nothing new under the sun. People have been calling these operations for a long, long time. That was my journey into operations. And there was a lot of learning, a lot of adjusting, and till now, a lot of on-the-job learning. But I think that's the most beautiful thing about being non-technical in tech, is that being technical in tech, you know that you have to keep learning all these languages. But if you're not technical, the number of things that you have to pick up just randomly, just to be efficient at your role, is almost boundless. And I think it's very interesting because that's not really spoken about. So, working in tech is great. I'm not going to lie. Regardless of all of the upheaval that we've had this week, deservedly so, I think working in tech is an incredible opportunity, whether as a founder, as an operator, as a programmer, as a team member. Tech is the future. I still believe that, and I still think that that's the way to go. And tech jobs always come with those perks that people working in traditional companies don't really have. Flexible work schedules, above average starting salary, I hope, and then opportunities for career development because, in tech, you can start as a product manager and just kind of move your way through the company until you're where you want to be. And because of the shortage of tech talent, a lot of us are actually moving to candidates with non-technical degrees or skills to fill these vacancies. So if you're out there and you're not interested in coding, or you can't code, or you're like me and you just decided, I'm going to do something else, right? I'm going to, pick up another skill, pick up design. Okay, design is actually still technical. I'm going to pick up product management. I'm going to pick up operations. I'm going to pick up treasury management, people operations, customer success, UX research, technical research. There is so many opportunities for you out there. So We need more people in tech with human-centered skills, whether internal facing or external facing. Nothing has been more obvious than everything that we've heard in the recent past, right? So human-centered skills are very important. And I think that a lot of us who are trying to transition into tech think that it's harder than it really is. It's not, right? A bunch of us have transferable skills, that there isn't enough emphasis on how you move those skills into tech, how you apply those skills into tech. Truth be told, working in tech isn't that different than working in a bank or an oil and gas company. The only difference is automation, right? If you're an ops person, you're like, you have at your disposal, you have all these tools that you can use to then make yourself more efficient. Now, how are you as a non-technical person supposed to find your place in tech? I'll just outline a couple of points here. The first thing, take stock of the skills you already have. What do you already know? The requirements for most jobs are very fluid and very transferable. Soft skills, experience with analytics tools. How can you apply that into the role that company X is hiring for? Right? Outside of core product dev and engineering teams, there is a bunch of non-technical roles that tech companies have to fill. HR, accounting, media, marketing, sales, customer service, right? It's almost like experience in any of these areas from wherever can be transferred into those roles in tech. As a matter of fact, fintech companies probably hire their most efficient customer success people from the banks, right? So that means that if you're already a customer success person in a bank, you have an in into a fintech company. We have people working in PiggyVest, and I'm really proud of this, who started as customer success interns, who've moved up, right? Customer success intern, customer success team lead, customer success manager, right? That's one. We had someone who started as a social media intern who's now product marketing lead. These are people I am incredibly proud of, without whom we wouldn't have made any of the progress that we've made today. But those are also examples of how you can make your own way into tech with any skill you have and just kind of build it out from there. Even if the job description you're reading, or the company that you're looking at seems like they're looking for like unrealistically specific people, I think still apply. You actually, with the exception of like those, you must know, is it Vue.js, is it React, or data science or cybersecurity, you can mold yourself to fit those roles. I did it. Odunayo has done it. Bukola has done it. Tifesholoe has done it. We've seen Eloho has done it. Eloho is one of the best generalists in the space. You can do it too. Lade, who used to work UX research at Google, was very vocal about this topic at the time. Lade is a UX researcher and one of the best in the space. She's always very insistent that people without the specific technical skills can still make it in these spaces. You may have even picked up data analytics before, maybe on the most basic level. It can be applied to a different role, right? Many non-technical jobs are hiring, they are open, and we do need people who are exactly like into those jobs, who want to learn those jobs, who understand people more than any founder or programmer or UI person can. Those roles need to be filled. Those roles are a necessity. There will be no big tech companies, no unicorns without those roles. The second thing is consider which tech roles you're already qualified for. Generally there's these soft skills that I think that people need to have, work ethic, communication, problem solving, project management, and all of those interesting skills that we always talk about. But most client-facing roles in tech kind of just require leadership skills, analytical skills, and then for the most part, you get on-the-job training, right? If you're working in SaaS companies, people will teach you how to sell their product to their clients. They have to. Onboarding orientation means that the gap between where you are and where you need to be is not that far. Like customer success manager is one of my favorite roles as an example. Founders cannot do it, right? I'm not being facetious. It's just like customer success requires like deliberate people skills that I found that several founders don't have. In the early days, Joshua, who's our CMO, handled our customer success. But as soon as we were able to, that was the first role we hired for. And now we're very happy handing it to the experts within the company and hiring more of them to take over those roles. And as we grow, we try to make sure that everyone who's working in that role is well trained and well positioned to also branch out into other parts of the company that they want to join, right? As of today, we have vacancies in several departments in the company, and we allow internal interviews to make sure that the people in those roles feel like there is a path towards a different role that's not customer success, but it's one of the easiest entry points into tech, right? And then there's also implementation specialists. And this one, I don't know that is that common, or maybe it's just me. When we started to partner with several other companies, we realized that we needed someone whose job it was to keep everyone involved in those implementation and integrations in line. And they didn't need to be technical. You need to make sure that API A and API B are well matched so that the partnership can happen. People who need to be in that role don't necessarily have to be technical. Good customer success, knowledge of Excel, Microsoft Office, project management tools, Notion, Asana. Once you have those unlocked, you're really well on your way. Teaching and training tools are supposed to be provided to you by the company. But if you have those unlocked, then there's nothing stopping you from being an implementation specialist, right? Product marketer. In 2016, 2017, people thought marketing was less than. There's nothing more wrong than that. It's not. If you don't sell your company, you're not going to make any money. Your company is going to die, and that's likely eventuality. You cannot treat marketers different than you treat the rest of the company. We learned that the hard way before PiggyVest, thankfully, and have continued to grow in that path. Product marketers are key to your business because they help launch the new product, they help position the new product, they help refine your voice, and then they help figure out how to retail it. Student ambassadorship, your voice on Twitter, your voice on Instagram, your voice on LinkedIn. And, they might need to be slightly technical, but not in the specific way that you have to know coding and all of that. User research, branding strategy, campaign setup, marketing and advertising, copywriting, user journey mapping. If you already have these skills or have interest there, then you see there is actually something for you. Writing and collaboration skills, communication. These are invaluable skills that people possess, but because we're not emphasizing it, they think that there's no place for them in tech. There is. UX researcher. My favorite UX researcher is obviously Lade. I'm always going to use her as a reference point. But one of the skills you need to develop there: design, interviewing, plotting user journey, qualitative and quantitative research, data visualization. All of these things are things that you can pick up on your own. Udacity, edX, Coursera, Nextford, they all offer mini and micro courses that you can take to brush up on these skills without ever having to write a line of code. Honestly, no offense to the programmers, but this is really, for me, focusing on people who want to work in tech, who have zero interest in programming, or maybe not zero, little interest, or you just want to do something different. That's fair, and there's space. So we've said, take stock of the skills that you already have and consider which tech roles you're already qualified for. The third thing is bring domain knowledge from another industry, right? In tech, we like to act like we're the first people to do what we're doing. The truth is we're not, right? We're building up on existing industries. There's nothing new under the sun. So for instance, fintech, which is, all the rage right now. But in truth, a fintech company is a financial institution that's leveraging tech. If you've already worked in a bank or in an asset manager, chances are, with the right culture tweaks, you'll be able to fit into a tech company. So, to meet, let's say you've spent your entire career in, let me not use banks because there's some culture clashes, healthcare administration, and you're now transitioning into health tech. You can apply those skills into a tech that serves the healthcare industry by leveraging your understanding of the pain points that patients have. And they have those things. constantly, like one of the slowest to adapt to tech industries in Nigeria today is the health tech industry, right? So if you spent your career doing administration in health, like hospitals, hospital management, you can transition into a tech company that's doing the same thing with that wealth of knowledge. I'm not going to lie to you, we need it. When a fintech company starts to grow and starts to hire, treasury managers and compliance managers and risk managers, we're going to be hiring from the traditional industry, right? We're going to be hiring from banks, from asset managers, from finance houses. We're just going to be looking for people with the culture fit that we're looking for. But those people don't come, like, they're not just like, we're not going to like build them by ourselves. We're going to poach them. We're going to hire them and lure them away with the promises of those perks I spoke about in the beginning, but they're going to be able to transfer those skills from their traditional industries into tech. So if you've already started your career working in law, or working in a bank, working in a hospital, there is space for you in tech, because tech companies that are scaling, that are growing, do need those skills, right? If you're looking at a company that's, for instance, democratizing access to VC, if you've been working in an asset manager, there is space there for you, because there is complexities behind in the back office that they need to understand, they need to work on, that you, who's worked in an asset management company for the entirety of your short, long, medium-term career, can help them quickly understand. We need those skills, and those skills are transferable. If you're an entry-level person and this is your interest, begin to take mini micro courses so that you are positioning yourself to enter into those spaces. Look at the job description. Look at who they're targeting. B2C, B2B, new industries. How can you help, right? Where can you position yourself? What does your domain knowledge help that company do? If you can find that, then you can move into tech. And number 4, connect the dots, right? Right. How do your transferable skills and domain knowledge align with the company needs? This is literally the job interview, job application, hiring process. Reference problems that you solved in the past and connect them to the pain points of the company. When we were hiring, I like to tell the people we're hiring, we don't know everything, and that's not even trying to make them feel comfortable. It's just the truth, right? There is always going to be knowledge gaps. So when we're sitting down opposite someone we want to bring onto the team, and we're asking them, why PiggyVest? How can you bring the skills you have into PiggyVest? The answer that we're expecting from you is, how are you going to help my users further be financially free? When you're summarizing your roles in your resume, tailor your job responsibilities, that whether if you have them, to what the company needs. And if you don't have them, you need to begin to play upon what you can do to further the company's mission. I know all of these things sound cliche, but transferring from a non-technical person into tech, or being a non-technical person in tech, is almost that simple. There will always be cases where people try to downplay the roles of non-technical people in tech. Those people always learn. They always learn that the only way that a tech company progresses is by balancing. If you've held administrative roles in the past, or you want to hold an administrative role, you should emphasize your time management and organizational skills. Reference project management tools, because you are interviewing with a tech company. When tech founders or interviewers and hiring managers hear Notion and Basecamp, look, we're immediately at alert. So I encourage people to actually familiarize themselves with those tools. Airtable, these are things that make life easy. These are things that you need to be familiar with. If you're going to come and claim your space, and it's there for you, right? As a person I'm not interested in writing any lines of code, there are excellent no-code tools out there that allow you to speak authoritatively as a person who works in tech, right? Learn those, emphasize those. All skills are relevant. No knowledge gained is lost, right? There's a whole data, data segment about that. No knowledge gain, anything in will always find its way out and find expression. Non-technical skills will always find expression in tech. As a person who hasn't written a line of code in 8 years, I think that you will find your space. I think that more and more women, more and more people, more and more men who are starting companies without having the technical skills actually I think a great person to actually also look at is Abdul of Mono. He has a CTO, technical co-founder, and if you never met Abdul, you wouldn't know that he wasn't the one, like, he was not like the coder for the company. Abdul is a great salesperson. You can sell, right? He obviously understands like the code and understands when he's talking to his developers, but Abdul's major skill as a CTO, as a CEO, as the head of Mono, as a person who's crafting their vision, is selling. My job as an ops person for PiggyVest, a person who doesn't write code, is making sure that the entire company is moving towards PiggyVest goals and targets for the quarter, for the half year, for the year, right? So that means that, like me, like other non-technical founders, there is space. So, customer success, product marketing, operations, right? We are always hiring operations associates because there is a lot of moving parts in the company that have nothing to do with the back office, right? If you like go over this point over and over and over, and you start to position yourself, we're in 2022, so that means that your words on Twitter also kind of contribute to how people see you. Positioning is a hell of a thing, right? Show what you know. Always showcase it. Blow your own trumpet. No matter what it is you can do, talk about it on your CV, on your cover letter, on your LinkedIn. Someone's looking. There is space always, and I'm emphasizing that there is space because there's a lot of discourse out there that's developing, and that's really good, around non-technical spaces inside of tech. They're there, they exist. We have to talk about them more, we have to emphasize them more, but more people should also do that research and know that we're welcoming those people now, right? Make the connections for the founders, for the hiring managers, for the co-founders, for the operators, for the interviewers, to know that your skills can be transferred into this role in their company, because you know it can. And so I hope that somehow this talk has been able to kind of show that that there's space for non-technical people in tech. And when I say non-technical people, understanding no-code tools is probably fairly technical. Using project management tools is probably fairly technical. But for the purpose of this conversation, non-technical for me is a person who doesn't code, right? And so if you don't code, there's space for you in tech, and I hope that this helps you find it. Thank you guys. I hope you have an enjoyable rest of the festival, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.